Big Ramy, 155 kilos. That's 341 pounds in the off season. Now, a lot of people ask me, is that too much? Is that not enough? I think it's perfect weight, actually, to be honest with you. I mean, look at the size of the guy. He's enormous. He obviously holds 340 to 350 pretty well in his body. I don't think he needs to go any higher than that. But if you think about the history of people in our sport, and I'm not just talking about Mr. Olympia, I'm talking about like the biggest freaks of all time, Nasser and Marcus Rule, and anyone who's like was real big. No one weighed 340 pounds in the offseason and actually looked, you know, like a bodybuilder. I mean, I'm sure there were guys that were fat slobs, but Ramy, height for pound with quality muscle, and obviously as a Mr. Olympia, it was the biggest there was. Ronnie Coleman was not 350 pounds in the offseason. He was probably 315, 320. I don't know what Ronnie will tell you he was. And I got news for you. It's hard to weigh yourself when you're over 300 pounds. So, and Ramy looks really big. Even in the, I mean, we didn't get a shot of him, obviously, but he's in clothing. And then people complaining about, why isn't Ramy putting up more pictures, and how come he's not taking shots? I'll say this, I hope he's taking pictures for himself for later down the road, so he has something that he could, show, the fans, like when he retires, because that was one thing that I really wish I would have had when I was big enough, and when I was that, over 300 pounds. I really didn't take any pictures, but, he doesn't have to put anything on social media. When you're that big, Ramy big, and you're Mr. Olympia 2 times, sometimes letting the people, in their mind think about, I wonder what he looks like. That gets their juices going, and people want to see Ramy even more. So he might be creating mystique. Look, he's making money. He's got contracts. He obviously, his sponsors don't care if he puts up pictures or not, without clothing on or not. I mean, as long as he goes and wins the Olympia, I don't think anyone cares. So yeah, I mean, we all want to see what he looks like so we can speculate and gossip about it. But the bottom line is probably he's better off not showing everyone. Let people wonder, holy mackerel, Ramy is 341. What's he going to look like on stage, for next year, for this year's Olympia at the end of the year? Obviously, he's still got, a good 11 months to prepare for this thing. I think we're going to see a big Ramy this year. I hope we see a better conditioned big Ramy than we saw in 2021. And if we do, it'll be, lights, camera, action, game over. That's the bottom line. But you can't get mad at the guy for not wanting to show what he looks like. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to. It's his body. Who's better than Ramy right now? As long as his health is good, I think it's exciting to know that he's that big. And I don't think Ramy's like a liar in terms of his weight. I know some guys lie about their weight and say they're bigger than they are. I think Ramy's, when you're as big as Ramy, you don't have to lie. I don't think Ramy lies about his weight. And I think that he's every much 340 pounds. It's crazy to say that. I remember back in the 90s talking about there's going to be a day where there's going to be an on-stage 300-pound Mr. Olympia. And Ronnie came pretty close to that. I would have loved to have seen those two of those guys standing next to each other on stage. No, it would have been fun for sure. So Ramy, 241, he seems like he's happy. He seems like everything's going well for him. I hope he stays healthy and once again continues to grow, because after all, that's what we want to see. We want to see a huge, freaky Mr. Olympia come December.